Okay, well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to this this month's Foxtrot Forum. We've slightly abandoned our weekly forums because everyone's getting so busy now. There's lots going on, and I know everyone's diaries are starting to get filled up a little bit. So I'm really pleased that we've got so many people joining us this evening. And of course, this evening we've got a very special guest with Harry Skelton. The champion jockey will be joining us a little bit later on, so we're looking forward to chatting to him. And of course, hopefully you've got plenty of questions to ask him as well. So those of you at Worcester who were running a book on whether or not I would get back home in time for the forum, I am at home, only just got home about 2 minutes ago. So straight here and straight onto the forum. So a bit of a busy Foxtrot day today. Those of you that didn't know, the race at Worcester got delayed, but thankfully got home in time for a forum and really pleased to be here. So I hope those of you that backed that I wouldn't be here for 7 o'clock haven't lost too much money. Now, really pleased to have so many people coming. It really does feel, I think, that normality is around the corner now. Great to see so many Foxtrot members at the races this week. Really terrific. We've had lots of people racing this week, which is great. And I know we've got lots of people going to Market Raising as well tomorrow. So lots to look forward to and good to see so many people back on the race course. And hopefully that's only going to get better from the 17th of May. And I've heard yesterday that there's been a strong suggestion that at least some owners will be allowed into the parade ring after the 17th of May. So fingers crossed that things are starting to open up even more and things are getting back towards normality. Just a couple of sort of admin points, if you like, for those of you that are joining us for the first time or like me, still trying desperately to get used to Zoom and what it's all about. In the top right-hand corner of your screen, you should see a button that says something like View. And it varies if you're on a mobile, iPad, a tablet, or on your computer, but you should be able to see a view. Now, if you click on that, you can have a choice between speaker view or gallery, and that just allows you to choose how many good-looking people you'd like to be able to see, or so that you can view everyone that's on the call. So just a change of view that may be useful. And then in the bottom of your screen, you'll see some buttons down there, one of which is reactions, which allows you to put your hand up if you'd like to ask any questions, or there is a chat box as well. And if you've got any questions, points, complaints, or anything that you'd like to ask Harry Skelton without coming on yourself, you can put it into the chat box and I will pass on any questions that we get there. So hopefully lots of opportunities for you to get involved this evening and ask any questions. As my dog tries to break in because he's realised I've just got home, coming to say hello to me. Jasper just banging on the door. I hope you can't hear that. Hopefully lots of opportunities for you to get involved. And this evening, for the first time ever, I am going to be asking you some questions. So we're going to have a role reversal and I'm going to be the one asking questions and we're going to get you guys to do some answering of those questions as we look back on last season. So it's been a busy week for Foxtrot this week. We've had plenty of runners to get the season underway, and I think probably a little bit of a mixed bag, if I'm honest. Who Shot Who had a terrific start to the season, running a terrific race, over 500 days off the course, and ran really well. Looked like the winner jumping the last, but perhaps those 500 days just caught up with him, but still finished 23 lengths clear of the third as he finished a very good second at Warwick on his comeback run. So well done to Who Shot Who, syndicate members. Worth the patience, and I think he's got an exciting season ahead. Who else do we have? Phoenix Dawn ran at Wolverhampton. It's an unusual place for us to have a runner. He was really having a spin out to get himself ready for going hurdling. Probably wasn't helped by the first, at the time I thought it was a little bit of a disappointing run, to be honest, but having watched it back, those of you that saw the race, the first furlong, the jockeys trying to get him in, Ben Kerr's trying to get him into a sprint, and I think you can't get a stayer sprinting over the first furlong and expect him to stay the distance. So I'm not sure that really went to plan at all in terms of the ride he got in on reflection. But nevertheless, he's got an exciting season ahead of him when he goes hurdling, and that race will get him spot on, which was the objective, and lots to look forward to with him. As for all the red cap horses, and we've got a few more entries coming in, and I'm hearing some great things about Lord Snaps, so really looking forward to getting him on board. Now, what else do we have? Oh, Maracuja ran and Solstice Star ran today. And I think both of those probably looked like they were at the end of a long season. Both sort of older horses, I think, have probably said, I've had enough for the season and looking forward to getting out in the sunshine. But we shall... yeah, I think give them both a break now, and we'll make a decision on Solstice Star in the coming days in terms of whether or not that might be the end for him or whether or not we keep going for him. Speak to the owners because obviously he's leased. And Maracuja we will carry on with. He's well handicapped, and I think there's more races in him, so we'll carry on with him next season and looking forward to him. But for now, he'll certainly go out for a break because he needs it. Now, talking about older horses, Von Romane is still in the ownership of the syndicate and has been spending time with Kate Atwood, who's been doing a great job in retraining. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to speak to Kate and just get a little bit of an update on how Ronnie is and how he's getting on. So, Kate, I can see you're still called Oscar, but still with us. So
Yes.
How is Ronnie doing?
Well, I think, as with his racing career, he is exceeding expectations. So he's been with Claire Hart now for coming up for 2 weeks. He'll be there for another week and then he'll come home and ready for his grand parade. And then he's first went down and had a day on the walker. Then he started hacking out, and Claire gave some very good feedback, said he was a lovely boy, very much thinking he was still a racehorse, a little bit exuberant, but a good boy, a very good boy. And so he then has started in the Manage this week, and he's looking very good, very good. I have to say, very impressed with him. He's doing everything that's being asked of him. He's very neat in his strides. He's got a lovely big canter. I spoke to Claire, I think it was Monday evening, and she said that really in his head, he wants to be a team chaser or a hunter. But obviously his head and his body don't quite tie up in that regard. So we'll have to see how he gets on with the showing side. We'll still give it a go, but it might be that he prefers the dressage, a little bit more active stuff than standing still in a show ring. But I'd still like to do that with him and see how he gets on, because I think he'll look stunning by the time he's finished his retraining and he's muscled up in all the right places. But very good. We're very pleased with the way he's going.
Well, it's great because often when we, retire horses, they sort of move on, and it's often, with the best will in the world, often difficult to keep track of how they're getting on and how they are. So this is fantastic that you're looking after him and being able to keep us up to date. So just, so what's the plan sort of going forward from him? So he's been with Claire Hart for a little bit of retraining, been ridden, and what happens next?
He carries on his training back here, increasing the amount of flat work he's doing, really starting to get that flexibility built up, and also his top line, make sure he's nice and rounded, he's working well, he's all engaged as he's moving. And I think he's going to have a really nice action in the dressage arena. I think he's going to get quite a nice float on him. So it'll be a combination of me doing some groundwork with him. We've got, fortunately, we live in the middle of a very horsey area. We've got lots of people around us with, we've got a dressage yard down the road. We've got a lady just around the corner who was a 4-star eventer. So we've got lots of expertise on hand and lots of people who are going to help us to bring him on and hopefully make the best that we can of him, so that he does quite well again when it comes to his ROR competitions. So that's what he'll do. He's registered with the ROR. He's registered as a competitive member. So we're looking at, there's an ROR show at Morton Marsh beginning of September. That looks like a good sort of target in terms of time and in getting him prepared. But yes, we'll see about maybe doing some preliminary dressage with him maybe towards the end of the summer. It depends on how quickly he changes shape and starts to bend and flex and do all the bits we need him to do. But yeah, looking forward to it, definitely. And I might be going down this weekend to ride him out at Clare's, so I'm really looking forward to that.
Brilliant. Well, that sounds great. And so, Morsley Marsh, can we all turn up with Foxtrot scarves and sort of cheer him on? Is that the done thing?
Banners, balloons, flags, placards. Yeah, that would be great. Yeah. So I'll keep everybody updated with all the appearances and where he's going and what shows he's doing. And if we're local to anybody and they want to come along, then that would be more than welcome.
Brilliant. Well, that sounds great. Well, Kate and Sean, thank you for all your hard work with him. And of course, we've got a visit for the syndicate coming up, haven't we? Oh, and Oscar as well, I should say.
Yeah, he's here. He's here.
Great work from Oscar. But no, it's all very much appreciated. And of course, we've got a visit to come and see him on the 22nd. So very much looking forward to that. Yeah,
that'll be great. Looking forward to that. Looking forward to everybody coming to see him. And I'm sure he will more than enjoy the attention.
Definitely, I'm sure he will. Brilliant. Well, Kate, Sean and Oscar, thank you very much indeed for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the 22nd.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cheers, Dan.
So we started to look back on last season. One of my highlights from last season was definitely Hogan's Height running the Grand National. We haven't actually had a forum since then, so I thought it was worth just catching up with a couple of the Hogan's Height members to get their feedback and their thoughts on the race. And I'm sure one or two of you may have watched it. So he jumped round and ended up finishing 12th, but great for him to get round. And I did warn you the Irish might be difficult to beat, so I hope you followed my advice there. And of the horse that finished in front of him, 10 of them were Irish. We really ought to chuck them out, because then he would have finished second in the Grand National and won at the Cheltenham Festival. But we might have to wait a couple of years before the BHA decide to do that. But great to see Hogan's Height get round the national fences, and he absolutely loved it. You could see that, and what a fantastic experience for the members. So any Hogan's Height members that would like to take the opportunity to enjoy that moment again and reflect on the Grand National, there must be one or two that would like to say something about his run. Phil, it's going to have to be you. We're going to have to hear from.
It's always me, Dan. Dan, I just want to compliment you on getting Tiger Roll for the Foxtrot team, and that was a great typo in your email today.
Yeah. Well, he'll be running hopefully in a couple of weeks. But I say there'll always be someone that has a moan to me about whatever horse we have running for Foxtrot. We'll hope for the best. But
joking aside, Dan, it was a fantastic day. I know all the people that were lucky enough to get there, and I know some weren't lucky to go. We did our best to cheer him on, and Aintree took really great care of us. It was surreal, really. We had the whole run of the place, didn't we? And I got a great photograph of Rachel coming in on the winner, and it was just a fantastic day all round, really. Just a dream, really, to have a runner in the national. And as we know, he jumped superbly well. He just lacks that little bit of pace to keep up with the very best horses. But wow, that was just
a chat about Hogan's Height, but I think they've almost finished it. That's why I called you.
Big screen, so that we could see.
Well, Phil, I think you're absolutely right. It was a brilliant day, but I hope it was a day, hopefully, for sort of the whole Foxtrot family, and one that everyone enjoyed. And it's a race that I'm sure everyone was watching and cheering him on. And it would have been great to win, great to be involved in the finish. But I think to get round in those circumstances was fantastic, and hopefully everyone enjoyed watching him run and jump round. And great just to see a horse enjoying himself so much over those Aintree fences.
And I broke a few speed limits coming back from Worcester myself tonight.
Well, I didn't, of course. Didn't.
No.
You just excuse me. My dog has just walked in. He's absolutely thrilled that I'm home, so he's just come to try and lick me, which you really don't want to see. But Jasper, great to see you as well. Great. Well, really good to have Hogan's Height, and great to reflect on there, and hopefully our first Grand National winner, but hopefully certainly not our last. And he's really given me the buzz to hopefully get back there. Jackie, you've unmuted yourself. Did you have something you wanted to say, or was that an accident?
So absolutely thrilled with Hogan at Aintree. He just met every fence perfectly, jumped, did everything perfectly. I've watched the race about 10 times. I've only watched Hogan. I haven't watched Rachel Blackmore or anyone else. Just can't take my eyes off him. Just so proud of him. It was just a fabulous, fabulous day. Really, really, really memorable. He was brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, that's great to hear, and I think that's part of what syndication's all about, isn't it? Having these sort of dreams and aspirations, and for it to really come true like that was brilliant. So so well done to all the syndicate members in Hogan's Height, and hopefully lots more days like that to look forward to with our other horses. So just while we're reflecting on last season, I was pretty disappointed, if I'm honest, not to win the Foxtrot Racing 10 to Follow League. And I finished second, and I was a little bit upset about that. So I thought we'd better get on the winner just to congratulate him and to say well done. So John, you had the Mavericksons, and let's just have a little, if I can share my screen in a second, what I'll do is just see if I can show the winning team from last season. Just bear with me a second. Hopefully you can see that. So John, first of all, congratulations and well done.
I'm going to have to get it up myself and have a look and remember what I did. And I didn't realise you were second. If I'd known you were second, then I would have given you a bit more jip about it. It's actually
all right, John. I won the Cheltenham League, so don't worry, I wasn't too upset.
Yeah, well, it's good because I didn't enter it, so I thought I'd let you win something. But unfortunately, you won the money, and there was nothing for this one. So I've had a word with Matt to get a bit of a good prize for next year. Hopefully, he can stump up something for us.
Well, it sounds like you're planning on defending your crown. I think this was great because we had lots of entries into. It's the first time we've ever done a sort of 10 to follow, and we had lots and lots of entries. So, John, just tell us a little bit about how did you choose these horses? Was it a bit of luck, hours and hours of studying? How did it come about?
It was the first year that I'd done it. I wanted to do it last year and just wasn't organised enough. And actually, I just took, and I'm not going to give too much away because it's going to be very tense next year. But in all honesty, I took a lot from the previous festival. So I looked through the winners from 2020 and tried to pick some horses that everyone was going to pick because for the fear of not having them. People like horses like Shishkin, Envoy Allen, those are the types of horses that you feared not having because you knew a lot of people would have them. And you know, Envoy Allen, we watched him all year and we just expected him to prance around and score us lots of points. But obviously it didn't happen. So Shishkin, as you can see, is one of the biggest, I think, point scorer of the year. And I tried to pick, some of the obvious ones, Epatante, Album Photo. Looking at Album Photo and reflecting on the year wasn't a good choice because we knew what the path was. It was one run and then the Cheltenham Festival. So a chance of scoring points was really low. Whereas horses like Abacadabras, Appreciate It, Put the Kettle On, those horses all had to prove themselves at a higher grade, or were learning a new skill over distances or over fences. So I say a lot of them were from the festival from the year before. But some I just took a bit of a risk on. Allaho purely being because he's from the same sire as Mason Jar, which is the other horse I have alongside Maracuja. So just a couple of horses that I really wanted to do well and be able to follow for the year. And you know, the two at the bottom I think were just a huge shame for the year, losing Fernie Hollow at the start of the year. And it was really difficult watching Lost in Translation go round this year. after his incredible season, sort of 1920, watching him run around this year was just really sad to see. So hopefully they'll be able to get him going again next year. But I don't think he'll feature. And really, to be honest, I was really lucky that I won it, to be honest, because I totally forgot about the Cheltenham transfer window. And I left in a few, like Fernie Hollow, that I wish I'd sort of taken out for honeysuckle and stuff like that. So it was a great competition, and thanks for putting it together. And looking forward to a good old battle next year as well.
Well, thanks for sharing all your tips with us, and I've made a few notes. I didn't actually know there was a transfer window myself, so I've made a note of that.
Oh,
too.
well, there you go then, yeah.
But well done, John. Terrific effort there to champion tipster in Foxtrot racing. So very, very impressive. So well done, John. We'll let battle commence again next National Hunt season. I think that starts sort of in the autumn. So we'll look forward to that and hopefully get plenty more entries in the competition again. But John, well done. Congratulations. And I'll know who I'll come to when I need a tip next time.
And Matt, if you're listening, we want a good prize for next year.
So Matt's a Foxtrot syndicate member, but also works for the Tote. So he's got the inside line to give us a good prize. I'm sure they will. So looking forward to that next season. So John, well done, and thanks very much.
Thanks, Dan.
Well, we've got Harry Skelton joining us in a few moments' time. But before he joins us, I just wanted to reverse the tables a little bit and ask you a few questions about Foxtrot racing. So I hope I've got the technology to do this. Could go disastrously wrong. Never try something live that you've not tried before. But here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you some questions on the screen, and you can have a go at replying, and we'll see how many of you can get the answers right. So let's have a look. Here we go. Number one, here we are. Hopefully you can see on your screen now, end of season quiz. How many winners did Foxtrot Racing have last season? So you can click the number and press submit at the bottom, and we'll find out how many of you have been paying attention to my weekly updates. The dog decides I'm a bit boring. Great. Okay, let's have a look and see how the results are looking. So 17 is 35% of you think 17. Let's have a look. 17. Well, I can tell you the answer, of course, is 18. So 18 winners for Foxtrot Racing last season. Congratulations. Those of little faith, dear. Anyway, so let's move on. So the answer was 18. Let's have a look at the next question then. Here we go. Which two Foxtrot horses finished second at Cheltenham last season? So you need to select two of these horses and then press submit.
That's a good thinking face, Kat. I can see.
All right, let's have a look. It seems to be a very divided opinion on this one. So here are the results you've come up with. Weakness Protection did win at Cheltenham, and the other, sorry, not win, did come second at Cheltenham, and the other second place was Minella Encore. So well done to everyone that got that right. Minella Encore and Witness Protection were both second at Cheltenham last season. Okay, here we go. Next question. Okay, there's two questions in here. So how many different jockeys rode for Foxtrot Racing last season? And if you scroll down, you'll see how many of these jockeys were conditional and amateur riders. Okay, let's have a look and see how you got on. So how many different jockeys rode Foxtrot racing? I see what pretty difficult question, but I can tell you the answer is 29. 29 different jockeys rode Foxtrot last season. I'll tell you, Aidan Coleman, Amber Jackson-Fennell, Ben Hicks, Brendan Powell, Bridget Andrews, Charlie Hammond, Colleen Leonard, Fergus Gregory, Gavin Sheehan, Harry Skelton, Jack Mitchell, James Best, James King, Joey Haynes, Keelan Woods, Lee Edwards, Lewis Stones, Liam Harrison, Lily Pinchkin, Luke Morgan, Paddy Brennan, Paige Fuller, Paul O'Brien, Richard Johnson, Sam Tristan Davis, Sean Bowen, Sean Quinlan, Will Kennedy and Will Marshall. So well done to those that got 29. Now you should know we like to support young up and coming jockeys. So how many were conditional amateur riders? Well, the answer was 13. 13 were conditional amateur riders. Great. So last question. Which Foxtrot horse ran at Royal Ascot in June? Which Foxtrot horse ran at Royal Ascot in June?
Dan, it's Phil here. Can you hear me?
So I think we're nearly there. Let's have a little look now. So the vast majority gone for Carntop, and of course Carntop had run at Royal Ascot in June. So well done to those that got that one right. Now I think we've just got time for one more before we join up with Harry Skelton, a very appropriate one, I think. So this is the last question then before we catch up with Harry. What was unusual about Maracuja's win at Kempton Park in March? What was unusual about Maracuja's win at Kempton Park in March? Okay, well, I think the majority of us have got this one right. Let's have a look at what people have said. So 92% have gone for he was the only one in the race. And of course, that was right, as a walkover. So Maracuja had a walkover at Kempton Park in March. So well done to everyone that got that right. And those people that think he crossed the line backwards, well, I suspect that's catch.
Cross the line backwards.
Great. Well, look, a little bit of fun there just to take us into meeting up with Harry Skelton. And I hope you enjoyed a little bit of reverse of me getting an opportunity to ask you some questions. So just before we get on to Harry, who I know is waiting to speak to us, I've just got a very short video that I'd just like to show. And that'll just remind us about why Harry has had such a wonderful season this year and why we're so pleased that he's taken the time to join us this evening.
for Brian Hughes and Brian Ellison, who wins the Bonnie's Garden Old Road.
Politolog drawing clear, 6-7 lengths clear of Grenadine, and Politolog wins his second single creek.
For Harry and Dan Skelton, My Drogo, a smart prospect, takes another step up in class.
Well, I'm absolutely thrilled that Harry joined us this evening. So, Harry, huge congratulations from everyone at Foxtrot Racing. Well done.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I think, first of all, thanks for joining us. I know it's, well, it should be a bit of a busy time of year, but perhaps it's just not at the moment. Is that right?
Yeah, bit of a quiet, well, it was a week off after Sandown, obviously, and then unfortunately I picked up a few bands, and as they were all sort of quite close together, all the days have backed up onto each other because we've had no racing for a week. So yeah, got a 10-day ban in total from 3 separate offences. So yeah, a bit quiet for me, but back next week. So no, looking forward to it.
Well, let's just talk about your season. I know we've got a few Foxtrot questions that have come in as well, so we'll ask, we'll get those passed on to you. But first of all, can I just ask, did you sort of set out at the start of the season to be champion jockey? I mean, was that always the aim, or did it sort of suddenly dawn on you mid-season that actually this might be a possibility?
Yeah, like, to be honest, no, we didn't sort of set out to do it. Obviously, the amount of summer horses that we had last year were a lot less than we've had in years gone by, and you know, so but we, you know, we had our winners over the summer, and obviously we got cut short for the first 2 months of the season with COVID, and then no, I mean, we just started off and in October with, you know, plenty of horses to run, and they were in good form, and then the day that things sort of changed towards the championship, if you like, were at Ascot. I had a treble in February, and I think the horse that changed it all probably from then was a horse called Shannon Bridge, and he was the one that set us on the path to have a real good go there.
Well, I mean, it was remarkable. I was looking at your stats, and I mean, last season, but also every year for the last 5 years. You know, if you take the 5 years, you've had a 22% strike rate, which is absolutely incredible. I mean, I'm not suggesting this is better or worse, but you know, for example, you know, Brian Hughes has had sort of 17%. Richard Johnson was 19%. I mean, you're getting 22% every season. I mean, that's absolutely phenomenal. Do you think being associated with sort of 1 yard is helpful in terms of you're working with the horses, you're getting to know the horse, you're riding out the horses? Do you think that that's been of benefit?
Yeah, for sure. I think obviously with like the percentage strike rate, yeah, it's probably high because mainly I just ride, you know, well, mainly for Dan, obviously, but we've got a lot of horses to ride, you know, to run and ride. So I always, you know, I'm on them in the mornings and on them in the afternoons. And but I think that's one of our biggest assets here at Lodge Hill, is that myself and Bridge are at home every day, and we know the horses like the back of our hand, whether it's a newcomer having its first run, or an older horse that's you know, been there and been around the clock, and you know, we know them inside out. And then when we, you know, come to the afternoons, you know, we know what they can and can't do, and what suits them.
Well, I know a few Foxtrot members have got some questions for you, and if you've got a question for Harry, please put your hand up, either literally or perhaps using the reactions button at the bottom of your screen, or you can put your question into chat and I'll pass it on to Harry. And Harry, we've had a couple of questions here, so maybe I can pass them on to you. Looking here, do you work on your riding? And I think that the question of this is, are you always looking to keep improving? Do you review your rides? Do you think about, you know, how you could improve a ride? Or are you so busy all the time, it's simply a case of going sort of day-to-day racing and getting on with the job?
you're always looking to improve. And the thing is, as soon as you've made the mistake in a race, you know you've made that mistake. It can be a split-second decision, and if you're, as soon as you cross the line, whether you win or you lose, you know what went wrong. You should know that as a jockey, and if you can't recognise that, then you're struggling to improve yourself, really. Hopefully then you don't go back and you don't make the same mistake twice. But as far as improving myself, like physically, maybe in the gym or riding at home, I ride so many horses, it's quite hard to keep on top of that. In the autumn, I do spend a lot of time in the gym, because obviously the quieter times over the summer. So then I'm ready for October, and as fit as, actually, I'd say last year was the fittest I've ever been, as without riding, if that makes sense. There's no consolation of riding in races and being mentally sharp, and that fitness can come, just from riding horses using different muscles. But as far as in the gym and running goes, I've always been a quite good runner, actually. I was ready to go last autumn as soon as COVID was over, and ready to go. But as far as making mistakes on the track, you should know them straight away, and don't do them twice.
That's really interesting. And what I really want to know, Harry, is, has Dan ever given you a real bollocking for a bad ride?
But at the same time, we're normally at an agreement. If he's given me a bollocking for something, he's normally right. There's no point hiding about it. The lucky thing is I've normally got half an hour to go out there and put things right. You're only as good as your last ride. I'm lucky that, especially in the last sort of few months of trying to win a championship, I was literally riding 6 rides a day. If it didn't go right in the first race, I had the second race to go and put it right, and then it'd be a winner. And then you roll on to the next one, and then you get beat. You might come out, have another winner, and you just, momentum, it just carries you. And the best drug you can ever have is adrenaline. You should just be able to bottle it up.
Yeah, that's interesting. And well, look, we've had a couple of other questions in from members. So Deborah would like to know, other than Premier King, obviously, have you got an all-time favourite horse that you've won on?
Unfortunately, it's not a Foxtrot horse, but one that actually that I was always very, very fond of was Virgilio. Virgilio, he just had a heart of a lion. He whatever time he turned up at the races, he always gave his all. You knew if he didn't win, he had tried his hardest. He'd gone through his career with his problems, and he'd had various wind operations. He'd come back from a leg injury, but he just put his heart out there every time, and he was always a thrill to ride, and you just knew he'd always done his best.
Absolutely, yeah. And well, don't forget, if you've got a question for Harry, and we've probably got time for a couple more, then just put up your virtual hand or ask in the chat box. You can do the virtual hand through the reaction button at the bottom of your screen. And Harry, Zoe would like to know, how much influence has your dad had on your riding career?
Oh, a lot. Obviously, I grew up watching him, learning from him. He never really gave us any lessons as such when we were younger, most of the time because he said I wouldn't listen anyway. He said that I knew it all from a young age anyway, he said. But no, I mean, from as far as I can remember, we were always watching him. And in the racing, obviously, over the last, few years, he hasn't been quite so busy, and his career has quietened down, and now he's retired. But massive influence, and he was always there to offer any advice or anything but he'd never hesitate in telling me what was right and what was wrong. There's no greater person to learn off.
Well, I'm sure he was a great influence on you, but I'm sure you've put in a phenomenal amount of hard work to become the rider that you are. And I think that one of the things I think we all appreciate, Harry, is that you are champion jockey, but thoroughly deserved to be, because no one else was riding better last season. And I think that was very clear from many of the wins you got. And, it was absolutely fantastic to watch you riding last season. We've got a question here from Michael. So he's going to ask you a question directly, I think.
Yes, good evening. Thanks very much for joining, Harry. Really appreciate you turning out tonight. My question is, could you please give us a bit of an insight into the daily routine of a professional jockey, please?
Yeah, that's a good question. For me, and I've made it very clear that actually it maybe from a normal jockey, if you like, when I say normal jockey, it's very much a family run operation here at Lodge Hill, and everyone knows that. So I have quite a lot to do with the routine of the horses in the morning. So I'd get up in the morning normally before. I don't need an alarm, never have done, and be up sort of around 6 o'clock, and then actually I head up to Lodge Hill and meet Dan and Tom Messenger, which I'm sure everyone knows Tom, and our head lad Tolly Dean, and we run through the morning, all the horses, what they're going to do with their work that morning. Then normally, ride 1 or 2 or 3 lots, depends how many I can get in basically before I go racing. I would always do as many as I can. I wouldn't be one for just riding one and coming back to the house and putting my feet up for an hour and watching the TV or anything like that. It's that's been ingrained into us, I think, from Dad, from a very young age, that basically there's plenty of work to be done. Ride out as many horses as we can in the morning, schooling or working, and then drive off to the races. Normally go with Dan or Tom. And then try and ride some wins in the afternoon and back home. Normally in the winter the timing's not too bad, and we're very lucky here in the Midlands that all the tracks are quite local, within sort of a couple of hours. And then normally watch the replays, have a bit of dinner, and then head off to bed and back up, same the next day. And actually for a jockey like myself, that I'm lucky to have those rides every day, and I'm very busy at the races, and you do sort of kind of lose track a little bit of where you were 3 days ago. It's funny, really. You're always looking forward, you're always looking to the next day, and now with 48-hour declarations you're even 2 days ahead. It's a busy schedule, and there's not much of a break for us, to be honest. Through the summer months, it's hard, it's tough, but there's nothing else I'd rather do. I'm very lucky. I don't see it as a job. I don't wake up in the morning and think, God, I've got to go to work. I've never once ever seen it like that, and I think I'm so lucky to be in that position. I just love what I do and love riding horse. I love horses. Been around them, from the day that I can ever remember. We were born with them, and it's all I've ever known, really. And I'd rather, wouldn't rather do anything else.
And Harry, we've got a question here from John.
Yeah, thanks, Dan. Hi, Harry. It one of the changes we've seen through coronavirus is the fact that jockeys can now only ride at one meeting a day, and you hear stories of people jumping in helicopters and driving 300 miles just for one other ride in the day. I just wondered, from your perspective, whether that's a welcome change, or something that you're glad to see, or whether it was you enjoyed going between race courses.
Yeah, that's a good question. And actually, for me, and I think actually a lot of other jockeys, it's a very easy answer that I think that decision's been made for us, and I think that was the best thing that ever happened. Of course, you want to ride in as many races as you can, and you're terrified of missing a winner. But actually, when you think about it, now I think it's brilliant that we can only ride at one meeting, and we've all done it as jockeys. There's 2 days that are always very difficult in the calendar: Kingmaker Day and Betfair Hurdle Day. One's our local Warwick. We're normally lucky to have a horse in that's good enough, and then you've got a really valuable handicap down at Newbury and a great day's racing of other races as well, and you're terrified of missing out. So unfortunately, you can't ride at both, and I think it's a good call that we can't do that, and we can only ride at one meeting. And when you actually think about what we've actually done, it's ridiculous driving when you actually should be taking 2 hours to get there, and you're trying to get there in an hour and a half, literally an hour and a half, and you're flying about the country. I've had to sort of get in a helicopter before from Haydock down to Ascot for the Ladbroke Hurdle, and I was riding up at Haydock in a graded novice chase, and then you're down to Ascot. So I think going forward, I think it's a good thing now that we can only ride at one meeting, and I'm sure a lot of jockeys would be very happy for it to stay in place. More for the flat lads as well. In the summer they can get to 2 meetings, ride at an evening meeting, and physically it's so demanding. So I think it's a good thing now, really.
Thanks, Harry.
No problem.
So Harry, just to finish off with, let's look forward. And this season that we're in now, I mean, really excited. You must be excited about getting back into it and defending your crown. Have you set yourself any ambitions or aims for this season?
Not really, to be honest. Obviously, I'd love to retain the title and bring the trophy back again, and to go and pick it up at Sandown was, that's what I always dreamt of doing. And it's a fantastic day. And obviously I'd love to do that. But at the same time, like for me, it is very much about Lodge Hill. It's about Dan's training operation, trying to provide the best service I can to all our owners there and give them the loyalty that they deserve. And I want the profile to be raised at Dan's yard, and it's a family run operation, and we want to try and bring as much quality into the yard as we can, and win as many big races as we can. The quality's been lifted over the years. We've been very lucky that we've got some, really nice young horses coming through all the time. And it's all about that, really. Like that's my honest opinion about it all. Of course, if I'm in a position to, have another go at the title, come February and on the way out of Ascot, we might be in that position again. And of course, we'll give it a go. But I just want the best for Dan's business and for Lodge Hill, and the whole way through. The team at home have been fantastic, and I went to Sandown to pick it up, and I got as many of our staff up there with me as I can, because without them I couldn't have done it, and without Dan and without all our owners that have supported us the whole way through.
Brilliant. Well, Harry, thank you so much for joining us, because really appreciated. And I think you've come on and been very open and honest, which is always appreciated. And, whatever we can do to support you next season, we certainly will, because we're all absolutely thrilled to see you crowned champion jockey last season. And hopefully that's the first of many. So, Harry, thank you so much for joining us, and best wishes for the new season.
Thanks very much. No problem. And thanks to everyone to be so patient over the last few months. It's been very difficult for everyone, and we hope to see you all at the races very, very soon, hopefully.
Definitely. Well, Harry, thanks again for joining us, and hopefully we will see you on the race course very soon. Brilliant.
Go on, Harry.
Well, thanks to Harry for joining us, and I thought we were very open and honest and terrific to hear. And I know how hard he and all the team at Dan Skelton Racing work. So really great of him to come on board this evening. So I hope you've enjoyed this evening's forum. We've got a really busy week coming up. In fact, we've got a busy rest of the month coming up, really. I think the season now is really starting to get going. Just having a look here at entries for the coming week. Well, first of all, we've got Dancing in the Sky running tomorrow at Market Race. I know quite a few syndicate members are heading to Market Race, and so looking forward to seeing you all there tomorrow. We've got Blue Ribbon has got probably going to have plenty of entries, I think, coming up. Entered at Newton Abbot. I'm just looking at my notes here. Entered at Newton Abbot and Worcester next week, and looking forward to seeing him make his debut for the Red Caps. Casting Grey has been entered for Worcester next week as well. We've got who else? We've got Tiger Orchard is going to probably run in a National Hunt flat race, I think, at Worcester next week. Ultimate Fame is in at Southall on the 10th, but it looks like she might get balloted out. So we've made a second entry for her at Newton Abbot on the 12th. Ultimate Getaway is getting very close to being able to run as well. He's working well. So he'll probably run in a novice hurdle, possibly Utoxeter on the 15th, maybe Warwick on the 19th. And Who Shot Who started our season, he is going to go up in the handicap after his terrific run. So we may look to get him out next week. So Who Shot Who entered at Newton Abbot on the 12th, will be entered at Perth on the 13th, and Aintree on the 14th, which will mean he'll be able to run off the rating that he ran off this week. We've also got lots of stable visits coming up. So assuming the government relax restrictions from the 17th of May, we've got visits coming up to, what we've got, Fergal O'Brien on the 21st, Richard Newland for the Red Caps Dancing in the Sky, and Vone Romane on the 22nd, Richard Hobson on the 25th, Martin Keithley on the 26th. We've got Jamie Snowden for the Beholden Syndicate on the 27th. We've got Ollie Murphy syndicate visit on the 28th. We're then back at Richard Newlands on the 5th of June for the other half of the Red Caps and Mr. Chiang syndicate. And we're going to organise a visit to Clare Hart's very soon to be able to go and see Anything for Love and Hogan's Height, and lots more to come in the diary as well. So as restrictions get lifted, we all get busier, and lots of events and things going on. And we can't wait to get that Foxtrot family back together, and hopefully lots of fun to come both on the race course but also at the stables. It's going to be really terrific just to get back to a bit of normality and get those events up and running after the 17th of May. So thank you all so much for joining me this evening. It's been great to have so many people involved. I hope you've enjoyed it. A bit of a review of last season and an opportunity to speak to Harry Skelton, the champion jockey, and a little bit of a look ahead to next season as well. So lots to look forward to. I hope you're as excited as I am as to what this season might hold. And hopefully we'll see everyone at a racecourse or a stable visit very soon. But in the meantime, thank you so much for all your support.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Thanks very much, Dan.
Cheers. Bye-bye. Bye, folks.
Bye. Bye.